But the last part of looking at real-world assets, bringing them on-chain, bringing traditional finance assets or other finance assets or income or something like that and bringing it on-chain is the tools that we're going to have to see and we're going to have to use. What are the tools that actually make this possible? Besides the obvious that is the blockchain tool. So one of them is obviously the wallet, right? That we call a wallet right now. This is how I have my account. This is how I control the assets. So when there's tokens and they sit in my wallet, that means I have control over those assets. So the wallet, the way I operate a wallet, that whether it's a multi-signature wallet or my own hardware wallet or software wallet or something, is going to be extremely important here. Another thing, another part is on-chain ID. Now, on-chain ID might be just my regular ID. Right now in the traditional world, you have things like your social security number, you have, your credit scores, things like that. My on-chain ID might encompass more than that. It might involve things like my income streams, right? You might be able to see my income streams. You might be able to see the other assets that I own, see what I've done in the crypto world. I might have filled out some information somewhere that is part of my ID that might have my social security number or my phone number or addresses, something like that. I might have filled out actual KYC information as part of my on-chain ID. Now this might be stored, this might be cryptographically stored on-chain such that only my ID can have access to viewing it in a way that it's not, that it is readable, that it is human readable, but I might store all that information. And that gets me to the next tool. But on-chain ID is going to be really important because for some of what I've talked about, for some of either getting loans or purchasing real-world assets or using my assets, sometimes I need to be an accredited investor. Sometimes I need to prove that I'm an American or prove that I'm not a terrorist or something like that. And I can use my on-chain ID to do that by just connecting my wallet. I don't necessarily have to fill out any paperwork. I just connect my wallet and it's there. So that's a bit about the on-chain ID. Then we have what I think is going to be incredibly important, which is zero knowledge proof. So you might, on the last point I made about the ID, you might go, Adam, that sounds dangerous. You're keeping all your ID stuff. You're going to connect your wallet and you're going to let this random protocol see all this information about you. And that's where zero knowledge proofs come in. Because what ZK proofs are going to do is make it to where, let's say there's this marketplace of investments, of private investments that are tokenized. But part of this marketplace says, part of all these investments say, you must be an accredited investor in order to buy these investments. You must be a U.S. citizen, something like that. We have to have done our anti-money laundering KYC stuff, know your customer stuff. Now, if I want to go participate in that market, I want to buy something, I can connect a wallet, but this marketplace has to verify that I'm one of these people that is able to participate. They don't have to verify that I'm Adam Blumberg. They have to verify that I am able to participate, and that's it. And in doing so, what it's going to say is we need to know that this person is actually a U.S. citizen in this case, is actually an accredited investor, has enough income or enough assets or something. And the threshold for that, for accredited investor, might be, makes, $250,000 a year and has $2 million in net worth. Well, they don't have to know if, let's say I have $20 million in net worth. Well, I don't necessarily want to tell this protocol, just like I don't want to tell anyone else how much I'm actually worth. I just want you to know that I reached the threshold. So with zero knowledge proofs, this system says we just need to know, does the person that controls this wallet actually have the ability to participate? I can connect my wallet. This system is looking for certain things within my wallet, but it's done in a way where it's not saying, yep, Adam has over $2 million worth of net worth. He actually has 10 million. Perfect. All it's doing is that the code is written to where my wallet just says, yep, we meet the criteria. And this system says, yep, you meet the criteria. But the system, this protocol, this code doesn't know anything about me by doing that. The best analogy I heard was, imagine you go to a bar and you're able to prove to them that you're old enough to walk in and drink at the bar without actually taking out your ID and showing them. That's essentially what a zero knowledge proof is. If there's a way for the bar, for the bouncer, whomever, to understand and know that you're old enough without finding out your name and your age and your address and everything that's on your ID. That's essentially what a zero knowledge proof is. And it's a way that ideally people are going to be able to have this on-chain ID me without necessarily worrying about that information being available to everyone. And I talked about this a lot when I talked about mortgages in Web3, right? The ability to connect my wallet and prove all the information, prove that I make enough money, prove that I have enough assets, prove that I'm going to be able to pay back the mortgage without giving all my tax returns and all my W-2s and my social security number and everything about me. All it's done is instantaneously it proves that I meet the criteria without giving away all my information. And zero knowledge proofs are going to be tremendously important in that. And the last part I'll talk about here, the last tool that is going to be so important is oracles. And the oracles are what we use, and I've talked about oracles before, but oracles like Chainlink, for instance, are basically take a lot of off-chain data and move it on-chain such that the blockchain, in this case Ethereum or some others, is able to read the data and utilize it. And what do I mean by that? How does that work? So I'll have to erase a little bit of this, I think, but how the oracle would work is, let's say I were involved in a real estate project and I invest in real estate. Now, the oracle might take the value of that land, right? And some of that value might be in the tax records, some of it might be in an appraisal or something else, but that is off-chain. So we'll call it the appraisal information. And it's able to take that via the oracle and get that data on-chain. So here's the Ethereum blockchain. I apologize for my arrows going everywhere, but here's the Ethereum blockchain. So the oracle is able to take that data from the appraisal and get it on-chain such that when I have a token that represents my investment, it is actually pulling some of that data as well. So part of that token is going to show me what the value of that real estate is. It might also be information. There's a company called Invenium doing this, but it might be information about this particular real estate project. So this building that I'm in right now, they receive rents. They have a certain occupancy. They have a certain ability to bump up the rents. They know when people's leases are coming due. All of that. You can get all that data about this real estate investment via oracles, because again, the oracle is going to be important to make sure that that data is valid. There are decentralized oracles. There are ways that we can do this such that we know the data is valid, but getting that data on chain such that it's represented in my token, such that someone who might want to buy it from me can have access. It's transparent. Plus, I want to know what it's worth. I want to know at all times kind of what this is worth. What kind of income am I getting from it? Where do I think the value of that real estate property is going to go? What has happened to the appraisal recently? I can get all that data, but it's going to take the oracles to get that data in a way that it's not being manipulated and get it on chain such that I'm able to see it, view it. Anyone else who needs to can view it. So these are some of the important tools to get these real world assets on chain. We don't need all of them for every bit of this, but these are going to be really important. It's obviously the wallet, the idea of self-custody, the fact that I own and control my own assets. The on-chain ID is going to be wildly important. This identification I have on-chain, and then I'm able to use my wallet to connect to prove who I am. The zero knowledge proof, such that I don't always have to share all my information all the time, but I can just share my wallet, and by virtue of this ZK proof technology, prove to you that I am who I am, or prove to you that I'm a creditor, or prove to you that I'm someone that can actually get this loan. I have the income, anything like that. And then oracles, because we have to take off-chain data and get it on-chain. Just like we're taking off-chain assets and moving them on-chain, we need data on-chain. So this is a little bit about the tools. Hope you enjoyed all these videos on real-world assets and bringing them on-chain.